through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
It's the After Show, where we talk about this and that, the other thing, and sometimes guns, too. Have Jim in the corner where we like to keep him over there. Hey, Jim.
My safe place.
Your safe place, you little snowflake. You and Michelle is keeping him in his place, as you should.
That's right. It's a tough job. Someone has to do it.
I was going to say, that's a full-time job right there.
Heck yeah.
Goodness gracious. So it's been a week of cleaning up with smoke everywhere. Nasty stuff, man. But, you know, in the end, as I say, we're healthy. Nobody got hurt. We learned a lot. And, hey, you know what? There was way too much stuff in that house anyway, so we're going to get rid of a lot of it.
There you go. Yeah, they say, fires, divorces, all those things make you realize and kind of take stock in what's happening in your life.
You had too much. That's right. Cut it back down, because we keep saying, we got to simplify. Well, there's one way to do it.
Yeah. Not the recommended method, but efficient nonetheless.
I wouldn't have volunteered for this one, but, once it's there, you just got to go with it. So there it is.
Got to roll with it. Would you prefer going to Texas first today, sir, or Louisiana?
Let's go to Tyler, Texas to talk to Trey. So Trey in Tyler, Texas. It's the Triple T's. Hey, Trey.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
I am super. I'm glad you made it in.
Hey, I was calling regarding that guy from California that called in that shoots the 308 Norma.
Mm-hmm.
And I also shoot a 308 Norma. If he's looking for some, relatively inexpensive ammo, Graf and Son has that on sale right now for $45.99 a box.
Huh, is that the Norma ammo?
Yeah, that's a factory Norma with
a good
180
price.
grain Oryx. But yeah, I load my own, so I don't buy any factory stuff, but I buy my Norma powder through them. So I don't know. I load my Norma cartridges with Norma powder just because it's a Norma and for no other reason.
Honest man.
Branding.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought if that help him out a little bit, that's way cheaper than most places.
Hey, Trey, why a 308 Norma when there are other 308 Magnums that don't cost as much?
Well, it's a long story. I bought that rifle about 28 years ago from a guy I worked with, and he's an old World War II CB, and he brought that into the office one day and showed that to me on a Saturday, and I drooled all over it. And a week later, he offered to sell it to me for what he gave for it because he said he'd never sell it. Anyway, it's a Seiko Action. Somebody built the rifle. Ooh. I don't know what kind of barrel's on it, and it's got a plain Jane laminated stock. I got it topped with a Lupo 3X VL and 4x10 now, but I love that gun, and I've got a muzzle brake on it, and that's my favorite rifle.
Well, that's reason enough, and it's got a story behind it, and I love that, so that works out well.
And some guy offered and asked me how much I'd take for it. I said, it's never going to be for sale ever, so don't ever ask. I got something nobody else has. So.
That's right. All right, Trey, I appreciate the call. All right, now that Trey's off, I can tell you the other story. That might be my dad's rifle.
Really?
Probably not.
No.
Highly unlikely. Dad was having a custom 308 Norma made a zillion years ago when it first came out. It was a hot deal. He had this gunsmith was going to make it for him, and he kept waiting for it, and thinking, Finally called the guy and says, what's the story? I mean, is the rifle ready? The guy said, well, kind of hate to tell you this, but a fella came in and offered me so much money for it, I sold it to him. So I don't know who ended up with that gun.
Gotcha. I just wanted to commend Trey for pronouncing loophole properly.
That's true. That's right.
That's a big deal to me now.
That's right. So to go with his Norman rifle.
Norman, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, I tell you what, let's stay in the Architects, and those who are there will know what I'm talking about, and go talk to Mark on line 2 out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, Mark.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I am very disappointed in the NRA and what they're doing recently.
Yeah.
I don't like police, and what they did with USCCA was, I think it's just slimy. The NRA lives on their reputation as an advocacy organization, not as a moneymaker. At least I don't see them that way, and I don't think most of their members. see them that way. They think of it as something that they're a member of, not like Walmart, where you have a company that's trying to make money and you go there to get something, but if they're going to start acting like a moneymaker, then it's going to be more of what do you get, from them. So their reputation took a pretty big hit with me over this.
I've heard that from other people who just kind of like what you said, just not mad, just kind of disappointed,
It's just, you don't expect them to act like bullies like that. And it's not going to affect my membership, but it is going to affect my donations to them. I donate to them because I think they're going to take that money and do some sort of political advocacy, Second Amendment promotion. Not that they're going to use their weight, wealth, power to do something like this to a company like USCCA. I'm not a USCCA member yet, but I think I might become one. This may be the final thing that puts me over the top of joining USCCA.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Well, all right, Mark, I appreciate the comment. It's this thing has been spiraling around since the NRA's Carry Guard program was announced. Like I say, a lot of it was the way it was done, the way they treated USCCA, and then people started looking at the programs and going, I'm not sure this is the best insurance out there. And then when they announced we're also going to have trainers, wow, we're going into competition with all these schools. Is that, I don't know. You guys have I tell you what, hold on to your thoughts right now. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and in 60 seconds, we're going to have Jim and Michelle weigh in on this. We'll be right back.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
It's really pretty simple. Your carry gun is a life-saving device. It must be with you. That's what the Springfield Armory XDS is all about. Small enough to carry, big enough to shoot comfortably, shockingly slim, single stack, with a 3.3-inch or 4-inch barrel, available in 9, 40, or 45. Highly accurate, great trigger, fiber optic front sight for fast aimed fire. The XDS at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
All right, we were talking about spinning off of Marty Hayes' piece, an open letter to the NRA, essentially taking them to task for this Carry Guard insurance program along with self-defense training from the NRA in competition with a whole bunch of their members. And, all right, Jim and Michelle, you guys listened to this whole show. You heard people talk about it. What are your thoughts?
Actually, we were watching a hockey game, Tom. We didn't hear a damn word you said.
Excellent. So how many runs did they score?
Yeah. He's a sports guy. You can tell. I'm actually going to partially defend the NRA here.
Okay.
And I tell you why. Because I think people realize, I pay my dues every year. Yeah, that goes to this and that. It costs millions of dollars to run the NRA. And money does talk. So I can kind of understand why they're looking to increase revenue streams. That's where my defense will end. Because I think there's other ways they could have handled it. I'm sure they had to have some kind of internal focus groups or something prior to doing this. They didn't just decide to do this in one day, make up thousands of signs and ads, and release it the next day. They knew it was coming down the pipe.
Sure.
So I think it was handled wrong. I don't even think they should be in the business either. But if they're going to, there could have been a less tacky way to handle it, I would think. I'm choosing my words carefully.
A less tacky way. I like that. Would it be tackuless?
Tackuless, yeah, right. So, I mean, I understand they need to generate revenue. I get it. I also understand there's other ways to do that, and they're going to lose revenue by doing this. It's probably going to offset what they make, if anything.
Yeah, and maybe take a hit with their reputation with members. Not outside, but only with members who look at that and go, yeah, guys, and that's part of this whole marketing of the NRA that's a big deal. I mean, I don't know what the current number is of revenue for the NRA, but I know it's well north of $250 million a year. It's a lot. I don't know.
That's more than we make in a week, huh, Michelle?
Yeah.
Huge, yeah.
It is.
Michelle, you talk to the folks as they're calling in. You getting a sense for where people are on this?
Well, I think most of them were disturbed, as you listen to.
Oh, so they fit right in right here. That's perfect.
Welcome home.
But, and like Jim says, they are making revenue. My question, where's the revenue going? I mean, there's two separate sides to the NRA that people often don't separate in their minds. There's, the ILA and there's the NRA. So there's a legislative side, and then there's this branded public side. And I tend to follow the ILA because that's what obviously affects us the most, and we want to know what they're doing, what their actions are. So whether that revenue is carrying over and helping to fuel some of that action, I don't know.
Good question, though.
Some of this, too, people look at the NRA as a brand, and if this is what they're, they've got identity lock or some kind of identity theft type of promotion that they run too. So LifeLock, yes, thank you. And so, maybe this is the only way some of those people are being fed certain information, or like, okay, if the NRA is behind this, it's got to be a good company. So, some people look at that as a branding. It's an all-in-one shopping. It might not be the right way to go about it, but...
Well, and I understand that. I think the real complaint here is that, yes, they do a LifeLock, but there are no NRA members who are doing a LifeLock deal. There's no companies in the firearms industry doing it. This is in direct competition with companies that are in the NRA or in the firearms industry, and in direct competition with all of these firearms instructors out there who are now going to say, "Oh, I'm going to go do the NRA program instead of taking a local course." With your guys.
Now, do you think this is wholly on the shoulders of the NRA, or do you think that this could be something along the lines of a media team, a public relations firm is involved and said, hey, you guys got to expand your brand. NRA is a recognizable name. We've got to grow it.
Don't know. I mean, I know that the PR advertising firm that does NRA stuff, they are so close together, they're almost indistinguishable. And they actually sit in on board member meetings and that kind of thing. Okay. So it could have come from them, but I just don't have any idea on this one. And like I say, this wasn't my deal. I wasn't going to bring it up, but when Marty wrote the letter, I said, okay, this is out there, so now it's time to talk about it.
Right.
I don't know. I want to switch because Michelle, you had a great line on this. We had a guy who called in and said his house caught on fire, and the firemen came in and saw guns and left, and said they had to call the police to come in and find out if the guns were stolen, which is like one of the most bizarre things. But I loved your line about the policeman running into a fire.
Right. What police person, sheriff, whatever you are that is the responder, who is going to go into that house, bring the firearms out, get the who's going to go through all of that before the firemen go in there to take care of a fire?
Yeah, we're going to go in there and pull out these guns from the middle of the fire, and then we're going to call them in and find out if they're stolen. As if, what difference does that make in terms of putting out a fire, for heaven's sakes?
I think the guy that would go in and pull those out and do that probably wouldn't even come out before he'd start checking them.
Well, to me, it was just absurd. Like,
it is.
Really? That's what, wow, that blew my mind. I couldn't believe that.
Well, and it may be... He touched on something right at the end where he said, they started asking him, are there any explosives in there?
Grenades.
That's part of the Bloomberg deal of branding people who have guns as being domestic terrorists. Do you have any explosives? Do you have any bombs? Do you have any? Because if you have guns, clearly you must be a terrorist.
Right.
Well, and people often don't realize that there are standards. You can only have so many pounds of powder in your home legally. You can only have so many pounds of explosives legally. You can only transport in your vehicle, regardless of whether you're going for, competition matches and black powder or whatever. You can only carry so much powder.
And, of course, we should point out, gunpowder, like we're talking about, is not an explosive.
Right. Smokeless powder.
Gunpowder is smokeless powder is a propellant. It burns. It does not explode. Black powder, on the other hand, is in fact an explosive and must be handled differently and stored differently. But if your house has 100 or 1,000 pounds of smokeless powder in it, and burns, it's not going to blow up. It's going to burn really well.
It'll be hot.
But but it'll be hot. But if you had a 5-gallon can of gasoline, that sucker will absolutely blow up.
Especially if it's half empty. It's more dangerous half empty.
At some point, it will be.
Burn down to that point, sure.
Yeah, but no, gasoline will definitely blow. So I don't know. That was a weird report, a weird story. And the fact that he is in litigation on it, or said he might be, or he's kind of working around it. I'm thinking, yeah, we're definitely going to. If they stood around and let my house burn because they saw guns in it, yes, we're definitely going to have a conversation about that.
Well, and I guess it takes me back to a couple of months ago where we had a gentleman calling in out of Alaska that kept getting surveys, kept having somebody come to his home wanting to do the surveys, wanting to know if he was a firearm carrier and what his insurance and all these questions. And they wouldn't stop coming to his home.
Didn't they said they were from the Census Bureau or something,
Yep,
if I remember right?
I believe that's right.
And they were asking questions about guns. We're doing a survey here. Would you participate? And they kept coming back and kept coming back. At a certain point, he's thinking, okay, this is not real. They're targeting me for something.
Right, because he was saying one of his friends that was also a firearm owner in the neighboring city or whatever was getting the same type of action taken against them. So it makes you wonder. Paranoid.
Yeah, it could be a group, or it could be some really high-tech burglars. They want to get the background and know who their marks are. You don't know.
Well, they want to find out if you're worthy of burgling.
Yeah, you got 23 guns, we'll rip you off. If you only got one, we're not going to risk it.
That's right. What's
it might not be at home.
What's the point of that? That's right. And and how big a truck do we need to bring anyway? We have to plan ahead.
It's all logistics. Yeah, sure.
That's right. Oh goodness. So Jim, I heard you bought a gun.
What?
I did.
What?
I broke down and finally joined the ranks of you crazy gun people.
Welcome.
Again. And actually,
hi, Jim.
Gun Owners Anonymous. I like
That's
the
right.
GOA. Well, I tell you what, since they're rolling music against me, how about I tell you after the break?
Okay, we can do that. We will be right back, and we're going to hear the story of Jim self-enabling here. We'll be right back.
Get the fastest semi-automatic trigger for your AR rifle with Franklin Armory's BFS trigger. The binary firing system offers a 3-position selector for binary, semi, and safe modes. In binary mode, your AR fires 1 round on pull and 1 round on release. Works in any AR, is easy to install, no paperwork needed. 100% U.S. made, patent pending. The BFS trigger from Franklin Armory. At a dealer near you or at franklinarmory.com.
At Stag Arms, our firearms are built to exceed limitations and push boundaries. The Stag 10 and 10S from Stag Arms offer recreational and avid .308 shooters better accuracy and performance. Custom-designed forgings give the Stag 10 and 10S tighter tolerances and a modernized style, all while retaining the strength of mil-spec parts. Each model carries Stag Arms' transferable lifetime warranty and infinite shot barrel guarantee. Find out more at stagarms.com.
All right, we're back, and Jim has bought his first. Okay, not his first. His second. No, I'm sorry, it's not his second. Jim's bought another gun.
Yeah, it was my first gun.
Jimmy
of the
bought
week.
a gun.
Of the week of that day.
Yeah.
All right, what happened? How did this come about?
Well, you know how fond I was of my little LCP. Mm-hmm. And somebody close to me was in need of a firearm. So I said, I tell you what, since you like this one, and this is one you'll actually use and carry, because some of the bigger ones, they wouldn't. Right. So why don't you take this and have this? So
sure.
Hopefully,
and that left us this empty place.
Well, yeah, no, what it really
had to be filled.
Not immediately. I went through the stage of, I'll break out the Glock 26 again. I'll carry that, and OWB, etc. Right. And that's great. And most of the places I went, it was fine. But there's some places you just can't. And
I know.
And we always talk about how it's a compromise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I needed something small and little, and I said, I like the LCP. I had nothing against it, and one day I'll probably get it back. But I'm like, these Smith bodyguards are on sale. So I got to check it out. And so I called down to the world's greatest gun store, Cleveland's Outdoor World, conveniently located just outside Toledo, Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah, I called
Who knew?
I called those people up.
Them?
Yeah. And, of course, well, first I called Michelle and wasn't able to reach her. So I said, well,
No, she has you blocked.
That must be it. So I head down to the store, and I asked for the main proprietor. And she's there. She says, yeah, we have one that's got a laser. Is that okay? And I said, oh, shucks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I try not to ask for favors, and she kind of offered it up and said, well, they're going on sale anyway. Monday, our 50th anniversary sale. So just between me and you and your 50,000 podcast listeners, just keep it amongst us.
Thanks, Jim.
So,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So by the time they can complain, you'll be open for your sale. So it works out good. So I went down and picked it up, and everything was great. And I said, well, where I'm going tonight, we had a gig, and we are Toledo's most well-armed band, including our sound guy. Our new sound guy is armed as well. I think it's great.
Yeah, you pat them down to make sure they're carrying before they can work with you.
Right. We have a strict gun policy here.
That's right.
Better have one. So, of course, there was no trouble, and there never is, and that's the way we want to keep it.
Right.
So I said, well, I got to carry it that night, and I have to put 20 rounds through it at least. Just to
you got to at least make sure it works, right?
Right. And I had some 380 at home, and I've had it forever. I'll just use that, and it's good enough for tonight. Okay. So I go home, and I'm in a rush because this, that, and the other thing. So I load up the mags, and I head out, and it won't chamber around. I'm going, come on, you got to be kidding me. So I said, it's got to be a bad mag. It was loading the round, but it wouldn't go into battery. So
okay, so the slide won't go quite all the way forward.
Yeah, it's eighth of an inch from following through, and it's got a safety I won't be using, but it's got a safety I couldn't engage, so the slide's not coming all the way forward.
Sure.
So I checked the breech and everything, make sure it's not obstruction or a lock or something I didn't see, and I just jammed it in. Okay, no, everything looks good. So I tried it again. Same deal. So it's not a mag issue because unlikely both mags are identically defective.
Right.
The store's still open, so and it's a whopping 1,000 yards from here. So I make that long trek all the way over there.
You sold me a lemon.
Yeah, you suckers. So I said, I think we need to try some other ammo. So he got me some Hornady self-defense stuff. Mm-hmm. And everything cycled fine. I tried it at the range before I left the store. Everything was great. So I accomplished two things. I had him verify that the gun was fine. And while I was there, I said, by the way, the laser's not exactly on. Instead of me doing it, could you do it? Because it was very simple to do it, but I didn't have the stuff with me, and I had to go somewhere. It took him literally a minute and a half to calibrate the laser.
Oh, yeah, to get the laser on, it's just nothing.
It's too little adjustments.
So what was the problem ammo?
The problem ammo was something I don't recommend using.
It
was Wolf.
Say the name.
It was Wolf ammo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't even remember how I got it because I think somebody came here shooting one day and left.
There may be a reason why that stuff is so dirt cheap.
Yeah, gee, you think? There may be a reason somebody
why it was left behind.
It was left behind here, yeah, because I don't think I bought it.
Oh, so somebody else had it and left it at your place.
Right. Yeah, I think so because I don't remember buying it. So now I got 3/4 of a box of that still.
So you need to go take it to somebody other place and leave it there.
Yeah,
and let it not work in their gun.
Oh shucks! I left 3/4 of a box of ammo. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, you keep it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the hospitality.
Somebody can use it.
Holy cow! Yeah, and boy, what a great example of why you need to go shoot some rounds through your carry gun before you carry it.
Right, because I assumed it's going to cycle fine, blah, blah, blah. But it's still in the back of my mind. I'm like, you're an idiot if you don't test these. Mm-hmm. So I had to. And when going to battery, it's like, well, I'm not even going to be able to test it. So grab a backup gun, take that one back to the store. Everything worked out fine. And, geez, what a shame. I had 2 firearms all night. Damn, I hate when that happens.
Well, at least you didn't do the deal that a lot of people would have done. It's just smack the back of the slide to chamber the round, get it in there. And now it
ain't coming out.
The first round may go off, but then it may not come out. Now you jammed your gun completely. Mm-hmm. Or if that worked, then the second round doesn't feed. But you would never have known that. So, yeah, good on you for at least paying attention. As we always say, your gun was talking to you, and this time you were actually listening.
Mm-hmm. I am totally enamored by the laser.
Oh,
it is so cool.
Yes, it is.
It is cool.
Once you start having a laser on your defensive gun.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You wonder why you would not always have that on your defensive gun, honestly.
Right. I'm going to be calling Crimson Trace this week and say, what kind of bulk deal can I get on 35 lasers for the following guns?
I'm emailing you a list of guns.
Confirm whether you do or do not make.
Right. Or when will you be making for this?
Right.
So, yeah, it is really cool. And it's been a day of using it, so it's not like I've had extensive practice. And I had a Laser Max guide rod laser in a Glock for a while. I just, it's something I've got to get more into. And now that's integrated.
And with that little bodyguard, one of the things you can do with that that's really worthwhile is, triple check it's unloaded, and then work on your dry fire with the laser, and you'll see how much you disturb the aim when you're pulling the trigger.
Yep. And the one thing I do have to get, I'm sure they make, I just haven't got yet, because I have monster mitts for hands. I shake somebody's hand, it wraps through their hand. The little pinky mag extension mags, I think it's a 6-round mag. I think they make a 7 with a pinky.
With the little pinky extension.
Yeah, I just need something. It doesn't add much in overall length. And like I said, slightly larger than the LCP, but negligible. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thrilled.
I think, too, with those firearms, the LCPs, the Bodyguards, the TC, any of those brands that you pick, they are so small. The sights are so little that it's crazy to not have a laser specifically on those guns because it is just that much more assurance that you're on target where you want to be aiming.
Plus, I was thinking, if God forbid you ever had to use one, but if you did, you don't know. I mean, they're 21 feet, and that's all that ever happens. BS. You may have to take a 50-yard shot, and with a laser, you got a much better chance of hitting some kind of center of mass than you would with iron sights.
Well done, Jim.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly right. And I'm just thinking about when you have a small gun like that, you really can make longer shots. You need to go out and play with that. I think you will really enjoy what that does. It's backing off to 15, 20 yards more. And just see one thing it'll do is it'll really make you work on your trigger press, because when you got a barrel that short, it's so easy to disturb the aim with just the slightest little twitch.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, you're going to get to where you're going to go, oh man, that just makes all the sense in the world. And I'm the world's worst. I mean, I've shot them, I like them, I use them, and I don't have them on all my carry guns, which is just dumb. But it also inertia where I'm thinking, well, then I have to get a new holster. Well, just do it, for heaven's sakes. Just do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a stage thing for me, but I'm going to have to add them to the other gun. So I fully expect to be contacted this week by not only Smith but by Crimson Trace. Keep sending those letters, fans.
He wants a sash.
Yeah, you're the 327 queen. I want to be I don't want to be a queen necessarily, but I wouldn't mind being a laser advocate because they're cool. And my cat loves it.
Yeah.
Cat seems to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, Michelle, it's harder, I think, for folks like us who have been in it for so long to accept it, because we said we got along fine without the laser for so long.
It's true.
Yeah.
Don't you find that?
Oh, absolutely. It is always an ongoing battle, even with employees. Like, I just don't think they're necessary. It's like, well, think about it. Think about the dry fire practice that you can do. You already see that you're moving, that you're jerking the trigger. That movement off target, you notice right away. Right. So it is all about training. And the fact that in the middle of the night, you know where you are. You got a little flashlight. It's not direct on that person, but 45-degree angle or whatnot, and you know specifically what you're aiming at and where you are. And so you're in a large group. Lord forbid that should happen, but you know where you're pointed.
Yes, and there are a lot of situations where you could see the attacker, but you're in a place where it's dark enough where you really can't see the sights. And as you said, Michelle, a lot of these little guns have mere suggestions for sights. That's about all.
Yeah, they're tiny. Tiny.
Yeah, that's like to the point. I actually kind of like, there's a couple of outfits that said, oh, we're just not even going to put any sights on them. You go, well, at least that's honest. And of course, Ruger with the LCP2, they put better sights on that one. So now you actually have real sights on an LCP, and I like that a lot.
Right.
Oh. You know what? I didn't mention on the air. Darn it, I forgot. There is a recall Ruger has a recall on their Mark IV 22 pistols.
Oh,
just
really?
came out.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
All of them. Every one that's been made. Something about the trigger. If you went through a certain series of things, you could get it to go off when you didn't want it to. So they are recalling all of them. I actually got a call from Chris Calloy, the president and CEO, a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, look, I just want to make sure you got this information. We're going to get the word out. We're going to take care of everybody. We're going to make it right. And I said, well, of course, Chris. I mean, I know you're Ruger. I know you're going to do that. He said, yeah, but, I really want to get the word out. So, we'll do that again next week. Help me remember when we're actually doing it on the air to make sure that everybody gets the word out on the Ruger Mark IV semi-auto pistol, their 22 pistol. Do not fire it. Contact Ruger, and they will take care of it for you. So that's the deal.
We'll remind you.
Okay. All right. Well, we that my lovely wife Pat has been given a new nickname, not by me.
Oh, no.
It's not Smokey, is it?
Sparky.
Sparky. And I'm sure she's taking it well.
She laughs. She's got such a great sense of humor. But I will tell you, we have been flabbergasted by how many people have said, particularly wives, unfortunately, it's this way. They said, yeah, I have no idea how to work a fire extinguisher. Never worked one, never picked one up, would have no idea what to do with it. And so everybody I know has said, all right, we're going to go out in the backyard and we're going to have a fire extinguisher drill. We're going to burn one up. Because, by the way, if you use one even for just a couple of squirts, it's used up.
They're disposable,
you cannot put it back. Yeah, they're disposable. So just go ahead and do it. Take one that's been there for a couple of years, use it. And the other thing is when you get them for your house, get big ones. Don't get the little bitty guys, because it would be it's kind of like running out of bullets in a gunfight.
Yeah. Nobody's ever had too much fire extinguisher.
Yeah, really. I just got an email from a guy who was saying that he had put his daughter through this kind of training and fire extinguishers and all. And she went out to the parking lot walking with some of her coworkers, and they saw these people kind of gather around this car looking, and she walks up, they got the hood up, there's smoke coming out, and she says, has anybody called 911? No. So she walked over, zipped over to her van, reached in and grabbed a 20-pound fire extinguisher, came back and hosed down the engine compartment while they're calling, and she's just taking care of stuff. And then she turned around and she said, everybody, all of her friends were like staring at her like, What did you just do? And they're just amazed that she had done the thing that anybody should have done and been able to do. But it also brought up the idea of having a fire extinguisher in your car.
Oh, you mean the first thing you don't do in a catastrophe is go Facebook Live?
Yeah, that's right. We're going to shoot video. We're going Facebook Live. Hey, this has got to go viral. Cool. Cool.
Well, you know what? Your attitude and willingness to share your family tragedy and the importance of training, this is one of those things you can't measure. You may have saved somebody's life. You may have saved somebody's property a month from now because they said, oh, man, Gresham had a fire. My wife and I are going to learn how to use these damn things. You don't know. You can never measure that.
Well, we talked about this potato bag thing that caught fire. Mm-hmm. We did some Googling on it, found out there have been a number of fires started by these things. It's just a little cloth bag that people cook bacon potatoes in. And actually got an email from a guy, a listener, who said, hey, I went and looked at ours, and the picture he sent, the thing is charred on the bottom. It's already starting to burn. Wow. So that could have burned their house down.
Yeah, I wonder, is it just the fill, the insulation?
We think it's the insulation, but these things, if you go on Etsy, that website, ETSY, Etsy, and put in potato bag or potato baker, you will find dozens and dozens of these for sale there. People are making them, they're giving them away, they're selling them. So there's a decent chance that somebody has one of these. So just find a way to bring it up in conversation.
Hey, do you come here often, and do you have a potato glove?
Hey, can I see your potato baker? I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
And that's how I ended up on the sex register list. Sex
Right?
Offenders, yeah.
Yes.
You are one hot potato.
No, I really meant potato. Oh, boy.
The eyes have it.
Oh, but
All right, so I'll share with you guys because Pat cannot hear me right now. In a couple of weeks, we're doing a presentation, and I have a hat. I just ordered to give it to her, and the hat says, "Is it hot in here, or is it just me?"
Oh, God. Thank God you can laugh, though, man.
Well, what are you going to do? Nobody got hurt. Everything else is just stuff. It's inconvenience and it's money, but that's just stuff. I mean, really. And, when I get this email this morning from a guy who says, I don't know if my wife's coming out of ICU, I'm going, I have no problems.
Right.
I have no problems at all. So don't worry about it. It's all good. All righty, guys. Well, I am, I'll be, let's see, where am I? Oh, tomorrow I'm going to Smith & Wesson. So we're going to go shoot some of their new guns and do some video with that. That'll be our guns and gear stuff. Sweet. And, it's a chance to go play with things that go bang and rather than things that go burn.
Oh, my.
All right, check your fire extinguishers, friends and neighbors.
Spuds on.
Thanks, guys. We will be chatting with you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Right, bye.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out GunDealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.